Good evening. Welcome back to the Hub. I'm so excited you all have joined us this evening. We will be talking about different topics as we go about the different months. But the Hub is where community and the ministry connect. And we're so excited for our guest tonight. Here at the Hub, we discuss health, finances, community, education, and also politics. And we also delve into things concerning health. Now, I hope that you will put it on your calendar to just be a regular with us. We meet here monthly for different topics and also with different guests within the community to inspire you and also to help us live our best life. Now, our guest tonight, I'm so excited to have her. She is a fellow colleague of mine, and she is just an amazing individual. Listen, I cannot wait to introduce you to her. So, tonight, our conversation may be triggering. So, I want to encourage you if you feel like you need to discuss anything after this, to call someone in your network, or if you need any of the community emergency numbers. If it is triggering to you, please reach out for resources. We want this talk to be inclusive, but we definitely still want to understand that your safety is our priority as well. So, in our conversation today, we're going to explore the tenets of emotional intelligence. And we're just going to talk about some practical tools to really help you manage your emotions. And I really say manage our emotions because every time I do these talks, you learn something about yourself, but also I learned something about this topic that can help me as well. So we're going to learn together. We're going to grow together tonight. I have the pleasure of having Dr. Ebony Glover as my guest tonight here on the Hub. And I want you all to just hear about this wonderful young lady that I'm going to introduce. Now, before I bring her up, I just want you to hear her bio. I want you all to understand that she comes not only with life experience, but with credentials. All right. So, Dr. Ebony J. Glover is currently an ordained licensed chaplain with IFOC, a Christian psychologist, and a U.S. Army veteran. Go Army. In 2013, she was awarded the Melchizedek Professional Award of the Year and featured in the Counselor's Magazine for counseling individuals at the Naval Medical Center. She retired from the Department of Defense in 2019 after 20 years of service, counseling active duty and their dependents. After retirement, she currently runs a small business with her spouse, Leon, personal life coach and ministry that provides couples counseling and substance use assessments for DOT employees. She continues counseling individuals in the community and provides equine therapy on the PLC2 ranch for people with disabilities and telemental health therapy. She also provides a mental health ministry for the AME Church titled Focus. She is a proud HBCU graduate from Norfolk State University. Come on here, NSU, where she received her bachelor's degree in psychology in 1998. Later, she received her master's degree in urban education and community counseling in 2009 from Norfolk State University. Then she received her PhD in psychology and Christian counseling from Louisiana Baptist University and Seminary in 2023. She currently is in her second year of biblical and theological studies at Belhaven University. She is also a member of Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated. She is a mother, a wife, and grandmother of five. Her passion today is helping people, cooking, traveling, and spreading God's word. So we are elated to have our guest, Dr. Ebony Glover. Can you please join us on the hub tonight, Dr. Glover?
Yes, I am so excited to be here and I am thankful and grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and Ebony, like you've always been such a joy as a practitioner, but can you just give us a little feedback? Like, how did you even get into this field?
I started in this field really young, so I knew it was something I wanted to do very young. I got in it straight out of college, and then I did my last year of college. I started working with schizophrenics. And when
Okay.
I worked with them, I think that's where I got my best experience, my best training. And I did that for about 6 years.
Okay.
Um, so I got into it because I always had a passion for it, wanting to help people, seeing that disabilities run in people's families. And
Yes.
sometimes people, we don't even know what that is. And in our own households, they're like, oh no, it's just something bad they had. I
Right.
it's something more than that.
Right. Oh,
So that's the reason why I got into it pretty young and just had a passion for it. Knew that it was really a calling for me there.
excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, we're definitely in for a treat tonight. So, our topic tonight is triggered or transformed, really looking at how to manage these emotions. So, I know that there's so many things that can come up. So, it's going to be hard to manage the time, y'all, but we're going to do it. If you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We will definitely get all of your questions to Dr. Glover. But we just want to dive in because we want to maximize Dr. Glover's time and try and get as much out of this conversation as we can. So, just to give us a little segue, in your own words, like when you hear the word triggered, what comes to mind for you?
Response, 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 response.
Okay,
Um, because when you're triggered, there's a response.
absolutely. You know what? And I just want to shout out the marketing team because there's something that they put in our like weekly things that they send out, and it said, what if it wasn't about what somebody did to you, but it was your response to what they did. So it's amazing that you would, use that verbiage for triggered. So when you think about transformation, how would you describe that?
So transformation to me is twofold because not only are we transformation with our minds and how we react, but also spiritually. So
Hmm.
transformation to me is a gift of grace. When we
Mm,
can transform spiritually, then we also learn to make changes. It's an interchange. So transformation is an interchange. We have to know how to shift that energy when it comes to transformation, letting go of old ways. And
mm,
when we are transforming, how do we just let go of what's going on in the moment with you?
right. That's very good. Now, I hope that you all heard that. We have to learn to change. And I think that's, we don't give ourselves enough grace to really understand that, hey, you have to unlearn all these things that are happening that you don't desire. All right, so we want to go from triggered to transformation. And I hope that as we go along tonight, that you all will start to just highlight things that may stand out to you that you want to focus on to either change, illuminate, or do more of, or do less of, right? So, Dr. Glover, um, when you think about an emotional trigger, how would you define, okay, this is an emotional trigger?
So, emotional trigger, our emotions are designed to remove. So, emotional trigger is if we're thinking something and we're feeling a certain way, we start having these triggers for whatever is being told to us. It's that quick signal that happens. So, emotional trigger is also a response to whatever is happening in your thoughts very, very quickly. So, if it's anger, anger would be an emotional trigger to something.
Mm.
What is
Okay.
that anger there? If it's sadness, what is the sadness there? So those would be examples to the emotional trigger. So it's something quickly that we thought that really went to a response. And sometimes our body records all of our emotions, things that happen to us. And so sometimes we might not even catch it because our body already responded. It could be something, wind,
Mm.
a state where you're at, a person. And so your body responded to that trigger. So that emotional trigger is a tied to all of that.
Yes. Now that's really deep. I hope you all are like really thinking about even just today. your different responses to things. And I like how you put that. Like sometimes you don't even realize that, oh man, I'm acting out of anger. But that anger, was inputted this morning, so that's good. I like that. So what are some common triggers that you see affecting people that you've been interacting with lately?
Woo. Today, there's so many triggers today. I mean, people, they're triggered sometimes by what's on social media. People are triggered by news. People are
Mhm.
triggered by noises. It could be because we're in such a fast-paced society. A person is triggered by another person, just like they said, hurry up.
Right.
So many things in this world. It could just be where a person traveled to and they hadn't been there in a while and they went back to a place and they felt uneasy. There's so many triggers. Um, so today provides a fast-paced world to people that experience so many triggers in different places. And so we just have to recognize what are those triggers and where are they coming from.
Key
People,
word there. Yes. Recognize the triggers. Now, I hope that, it doesn't sound like it's a negative thing to be aware of these triggers, when you all hear us talking, because being aware can actually put you in a lot of control. So,
absolutely.
Dr. Why do you think, with all the different scenarios that you've seen with people, like we react so quickly before we think?
I think indirectly society is taught to respond quick. We're a fast-paced society now. We don't communicate as much the old-fashioned way, right? We had to use that phone and pick up, not text. We had to use that phone where you don't know who's calling you. And so people are affected many different ways. And I think those common triggers that affect people today, they're not sure really how to respond.
Hmm. Yes. So the communication piece, that's something I see come up a lot as well. So if I can't communicate, I'm not aware of my triggers,
Mm.
how am I going to get a hold of these emotional reactions? What am I going to do?
That's true. That's true. And so, and that's a common question because if I'm not communicating, I'm not sure how to. These triggers are coming. The first thing to do is identify the physical response. And so, if you can identify the physical response, um, then that's alarm for you. You know, our cortex in our brain, our frontal cortex, that's alarm. When that rings off, and you're feeling already a little anxious,
Mhm.
angry, kind of detached, that is the first signal right there. And so once we identify that, then that's things that we have to put in place for ourselves so we can work through those and kind of move those emotions to help us.
Yes. And that's one thing that I hope um, will start to be more global is that there's more than five emotions that you can feel. You,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of times when I ask somebody, "Hey, how you feeling?"
When I'm
I'm angry, sad,
yeah.
anything else, So I hope that you all will open yourself up to learning the diversity of emotions. There's so many things you could feel. So learning how to define those is really going to give you a lot more options to choose from when it comes to reactions. So I want to hone in on something like really bringing out the point of the difference between reacting emotionally instead of responding intentionally. Like when you think about those two polar opposites, like what comes up for you?
So the two polar opposites, emotions, sometimes it's just what it is. It's emotion driven. Um, And responding intentionally is how do we manage those emotions? So we're not being driven by the emotions. If we're in a car and I'm emotionally driven, I may drive really fast, right?
Right.
But if I'm in that car and I want to be safe, what do I do to manage those emotions? I may turn on some calm music,
Mm-hmm.
say a prayer, Lord, help me get through this today. So responding intentionally is what helps me drive safe.
Very
That
good.
intentional.
And that is a good segue because when you look at someone who may have bring up that question, what are some early signs that we can pay attention to know that, hey, there's some emotional dysregulation happening here? Like, what kind of signs can I feel, see, experience?
So there's a lot. And it's good to know if it's your heart rate. Sometimes if you're just feeling anxious in your chest, feeling angry, feeling detached, having a lot of thoughts. You're thinking about the same thing over and over as one,
Hmm.
ruminating. So if we're ruminating too much, it's hard really to filter out and bring in something of a healthy thinking because you're constantly thinking of that thing that bothered you, a traumatic event. And so those are some signs there. When those are
Hmm.
going on, um, those are those alarms that I'm talking about there. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's,
so
I
go
know a lot
ahead.
of people that even had physical pain, that pain flares up. I've had
Mm.
clients talk about back pain can knock them out, headaches. So there's physical pain that can flare up, and we need to be mindful of those. Why are those pains flaring up so much? What's attached to
Hmm.
that?
Oh, that's good. That is good. Yeah, so I know when there's emotional kind of dysregulation coming on, taking an intentional pause can do a lot. So, what would
Yeah.
that look like? What are some things that you can recommend for somebody when they're trying to take that intentional pause when they feel like, okay, I'm feeling some dysregulation happening here?
Right, right. So there are things that you can do. So in sometimes it's settings, if a person is at work, I always say do a 1 minute space meditation is what I call it. Some people think it's funny, but it helps them remember. And so you're not closing your eyes, you're just focusing on something in the room for 1 minute and just count. Count in your mind for 60
Hmm.
seconds. So if it's your coffee cup, you're just focusing on that cup for 60 seconds. In reality, those 60 seconds feel real long,
Right.
but that can help. Another avenue is have some water. Carry some water with you. When we drink water, that regulates a lot. It lowers your anxiety. It improves
Mm.
brain functioning, and then it's a senses. So as we're taking the water, we're swallowing something, those
Yes.
senses change things in our body. And
Good.
so those are simple things in an environment when you can't always just get up and leave and walk away. But those
Hmm.
two things can help you in certain environments. Now, if you can't, and you can take a minute and you say, I just need a minute to walk away and kind of decompress and take a deep breath, then that's always a wonderful step to do. But the first one would be the space meditation in your space where you're at,
Hmm.
1 minute. Then the second one is have some water and just take a sip of water.
Yeah, I like that. That space meditation is actually one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
Lot of success, high success rate with that one. And people feel awkward. However, it's something once you start practicing as a norm, hey, it saves lives. So
that's
try
it.
it. If you have not tried that before, I encourage you to try it. And just being intentional. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where, you know, your way of pausing is now causing more disdain in your life. So you can't run out all the time, like you said. So, we talked about reacting emotionally versus responding intentionally, the dysregulation, taking an intentional pause. So what kind of communication do I need if I need to, communicate my angst to somebody who's in the situation with me?
Yes, that's important. And so when you need to communicate, it's just be honest as um, I don't feel good. I'm not in a good place right now. And
Hmm.
so if you can tell somebody that you're not in a good place, I feel frustrated. It's okay to be angry and to let
Yes.
somebody know that you're angry. Just communicate the best that you can and directly that you can. And
Hmm.
even that person receiving that information, even if they don't know what to do, it's enough to help them just to receive it and understand. Um,
Yes.
and say, well, what can I do to help? Sometimes that person already knows, I just need some space right now. I'm really angry. Sometimes we pray for the person, and that kind of just changes the atmosphere already right there.
Hmm.
And so communicating exactly where they're at. I'm
Hmm.
frustrated. I'm just angry right now. Um, Having that place right there to say that, it's important to communicate that to somebody. And so
Absolutely.
people
And
can
see that, yeah, what you described is assertive communication. So if you are not really in tune with how you're feeling, that could be cumbersome, in that moment. Because you don't have language, you know that you need to get out of there, and that person is looking for a response from you.
They
Woo!
are. Yes, that they are.
Yes, they're looking.
And so it's
Wow.
important to say, I don't feel well. I don't feel good. Um, and so you can go there because if you don't feel always safe to say that, and that person you feel is not really going to handle it the way that you may need, just say, I don't feel
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, and that sounds nice and it almost sounds sweet. Yeah, just I don't feel well. Most people, like when I hear you say those words, will respond empathetically because I don't feel well is just like a universal, okay, something needs to happen for them, moment. So that's good. That's good. So we definitely still need to communicate even when we may feel overwhelmed. So how does naming an emotion like really give, us that power to make decisions?
So if I name emotion, then you can attach some problem solving to it. If I
Hmm.
name I'm sad, what is the problem solving that I'm going to do for sadness? I have to look at how I'm going to address the sadness so I can bring some peace in.
Hmm.
So if we name it, then we can start to identify what it is and have a problem solving solution for it. If I
Very
name
good.
I'm angry, the same thing. What is the problem that's making you angry, and what is the solution? We can go there. Um, we have to name it. And once we name that emotion, then we can find out what the problem is with the solution. It's very
Very good.
important.
Yes. And see, that brings us back to our foundation of is it going to be a triggered response or is it going to be a transformed response?
Absolutely.
So you name it, you define your why, what you want to do about it, you can make a transformed behavior. Very good. Wow. I like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, it's coming together lovely. So naming our emotions, so that will take some intellect. If you're not working with a counselor directly or doing any kind of wellness studying and really into that, you may want to start to explore different emotions. And we have resources too that you can reach out to, either your counselor or one of us, and we'll definitely help you all get that because, yeah, Dr. Ebony's dropped some good nuggets here, y'all. This is good. So now that I have named my emotion, right? Let's say that I'm in a bout of anger. What's some things that I can say to myself, or should I be saying to myself with some that we would define as healthy self-talk?
So if you're angry, why am I angry? and what made me angry. And so when we start to look at what made me angry, that helps you kind of identify what is the trigger there. And then when we say why, oh, okay, I can put that other piece there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm angry because this person, you know, was asking me too many questions and I didn't feel like being bothered. Today is not the day. And so the why is, when I'm a little overwhelmed or I just want to have to stay to myself. That's why I was angry because I was asked questions when I just want to stay to myself today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to ask yourself that. Um, what am I angry about and why am I angry? And does it frustrate me when somebody's always asking me questions all the time? Where is that coming from?
Right.
So
Very
what
good.
and why?
Yes. And see, that brings up also like the importance of understanding what boundaries we need. So are boundaries, I guess, would you say necessary for emotional triggers to, stay in alignment with where we really want to be?
Oh yes, because boundaries we know are designed to protect us. And so if somebody is talking a lot to me and say I'm not in a good place that day, that boundary is, I'm sorry, I'm not in the mood to have all this discussion right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so you just told them that you're not ready to have this discussion right now. That's your boundary. And so that helps you emotionally kind of regulate where you're at because you're honoring your boundary and you're sharing that with somebody else. So you're able to emotionally, intellectually, what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regulate during that time. So you're regulating yourself, even though you may feel a little frustrated inside, but it helps you with those emotional regulations. So
Yes,
boundaries is
yes,
very
yes.
important.
Now we have a question with that. It says, what do you do when a person takes offense to me taking a time out?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So people take offense sometimes when you take a time out because they think you're shutting them out. Like, I don't have nothing to do with you.
Right.
And so when you take a time out, that could be your boundary. And so you just have to remind them that I'm taking a time out for me to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to make sure that we reiterate those things because sometimes people get offended, and offense is just another trap. It's just another trap. They don't might
Absolutely.
not be aware of that, but offense always brings in some type of trap. If they're
Mm-hmm.
offended, that's just a trap there that they're not even aware of. And so
Right.
just verbalize, I need to take a time out for me.
Right.
It will help me.
Yes. And that will involve some vulnerability. And I know we're not always open to being vulnerable, but I love the words that you're using because you're not giving all the tea. You're just giving them what they need so they can make a decision to honor where you are.
Absolutely. We have to meet
Yes.
people where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, everybody has to be met where they're at. And so when we can be available to a person where they're at, then that's when
Mm-hmm.
we really can understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
There is a good book that I recommend people to check out. John Bouvier's.
Mhm.
His book is Offense. Uh, the Satan, I think it's Offensive of Satan. And so it talks about how people are offended a lot and how you can work through offense and how people deal with offense. It's by John Bouvier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one when we talk about offenses and being offended.
Okay.
And you can take time going through that one.
Good. Yeah, and we were in a series and we were talking about doing a real spiritual checkup, like really looking at the matters of the heart. And that came up, that offense just reveals where we need some healing work.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Hey, everything is coming full circle. Oh, we have a question here. It says, how do we heal without suppressing the pain that created the trigger in the first place?
So that happened. Question, you kind of broke up a little bit.
It says, how do we heal without suppressing the pain that created the trigger in the first place?
Uh-oh.
Is it kind of
So I'm
breaking
writing it
up?
down but I'm writing it down. How do we heal from
Without sup-
pain?
with- without suppressing the pain that created the trigger in the first place? Ooh, that's a heavy
Okay,
question.
okay, okay, I got it.
Ooh.
So, suppression, anything that we suppress is going to take more and more time to heal. So, the best thing to do is we have to work on it in steps. So, whatever pain we experience, the longer we suppress it, the more we have to talk about it. So the way we heal with it is we start to talk about
Hmm.
that pain, that experience, that injury. Once we talk about it, then we can have a plan on what we do also to deal with it. So if it's meditation after you've talked about it, then that would be one. If it's doing some equine therapy, then that is one. If it's talking to a spiritual counselor and looking at scriptures to deal with that, then we're moving it again. But
Hmm.
we have to be able to talk about it. And when we talk about over time, that suppression is not so long there. It's kind of a release. We have to release that. And so when I brought up some equine therapy, that's another therapy that people do with horses.
Hmm.
And so horses are very spiritual animals. And I have one on my property. And so some people suppress a lot of trauma that they've had and they're not sure how to talk about it right away. But with the horse, I tell them go out there with the horse. And when you're anxious and you're suppressing things, that horse is going to move away from you. They're not going to
Mm.
walk towards you.
Yeah.
But what happens when you start to talk to the horse and releasing that, the horse will come back to you. And so when you start
Right.
sharing your things, share your story with a horse, sometimes a pet. Some people have emotional regulated pets, and that is a step. You can walk your pet and talk to your pet about your experiences, and you will see
Hmm.
those regulations start to regulate that suppression that you have kind of releasing. Um, Doing meditation. So when you're suppressing things there and you're learning to move that, whatever that thought was that was bothering you, and you're
Yes.
meditating, you're letting it go. That's a way of how we heal from suppressed memories and from trauma. So there's many things to do. Some people do yoga when they're not really comfortable. I'm going
Hmm.
to do yoga to learn how to release. The thing is, we have to release that energy and those thoughts and those feelings. And when we find
Yes.
avenues to do that, then that will help you with a lot of that suppressed trauma that you're experiencing.
Very good. Yes. Yeah, I love that question. Um if you're asking that question, that means that you're also one step closer to being ready if you haven't already started to go deeper. So that's
Absolutely.
excellent.
That
Heal without suppressing. Yes. And I hope that, you will find people in your life, whether it's a counselor, a pastor, a trusted friend that has wisdom that will allow you to fully have the conversations that you need to have. This is good. This is really good.
and
So
maybe
really,
and
go
just
ahead.
one more with that one. Philippians 4:6.
Hmm. Come on.
ponder on that scripture a lot. That can help with some suppression there. When we understand that God wants us to not be anxious, to have supplication and go to Him and
Hmm.
ask for what we need, that helps us release things. So I would say to that person, also ponder on Philippians 4:6.
Very good. Yes. Now, that's one thing I definitely can attest to. You cry out to God, you can get some stuff out. Come on. That's so good. That's so good. So when we look at really being triggered versus transformed, this is really going to involve an emotional transformation that we're continually cultivating. So if somebody were to say to you, like, where do I start so that I can move from triggered to transform? What would you recommend for them?
So what I would I'm sorry, recommend for them is reach out first. So to be transformed is the first step is to reach out to somebody that you can trust to talk to. And when you start feeling connected, then you start really feeling that a belief that I can, you know, have a transformation here and really
Hmm.
work through things. That's the biggest part is when we have somebody that we can trust to talk to, that transformation starts right there. And then when
Yes.
you start feeling connected, again, that transformation is transforming already. And then it
Mhm.
helps you to kind of challenge those beliefs and understand that you have a purpose. You have a purpose here. And once we identify that you have a purpose and you trust, um, then the regulation starts to come in with the transformation.
Very good. Very good. Now that's some beautiful things. However, I would like us to discuss, like, how do you rebuild after you've had an emotional outburst or a regretful reaction?
Okay. So I have a little acronym that I always say, name the song the day. Name the song on that day. So
Hmm.
you want to name it. If I had an outburst, whoo, what am I? I just name the outburst. I was angry. Some people want to use some cuss words.
Hmm.
So it's NTSD. Name the song that day. Take the space appropriately where you're at. If you had an outburst, just give yourself grace where you're at. And when you give yourself grace, then you can shift your state a little bit. Because when we stay angry and we don't give ourselves grace, we stay in that. So
Hmm.
name the song. Name what's going on. You are angry or something happened, something triggered you. Take the space appropriately where you're at and try to shift your state there. So when I say shift your state, um, after you gave yourself grace, just do something different. Why did I have this angry
Yeah.
outburst? You know, shift it. Just have that self-talk. That self-talk helps you shift that stuff. It helps you deal with the situation. That's the D in the day. That
Hmm.
day, you're dealing with the situation. So I always say, name the song that day. Name it what's going on with you. I'm pissed off. I just cut somebody out. Okay.
Mm.
Take that space and say, you know what? I cut somebody out today. Give me grace. I didn't like this feeling. What can I do to shift from this?
Hmm.
Have that self talk. That's the third step. Name the song, have that self talk. And when you have that self talk, that decompression comes in a little bit. And then that's going to help you deal with the situation because that's reality. It happens so
Right.
fast. And reality, people, they might not always deal with it the way they want to deal with it right away.
Yeah.
But once we understand that we can deal with the situation, then you may deal with it differently next time. That's
Right.
reality. It might not happen the first time the way you want to deal with it. So name the
That
song
name the
that
song.
day.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's good. I like that. And it really is a perfect segue into this question that is being posed. How do you deal with those who are unable or unwilling to manage their triggers beyond extending grace to them?
Yeah. So when people aren't sure how to extend grace, a lot of people, that's just where they're at. And that's kind of a stuck place. And so, how do you deal with that? We have to be graceful to them as well. And when a person is not in a place to move in that shifting that I'm talking about, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we just remind them that transformation is important, that you can get there in that space. So
Yes.
you can get there, and once you start to feel connected differently, that you can get in that place. It isn't always easy,
Mm.
but we're supposed to be there to help people move forward and to get grace. So if a person is not, they're not wanting to um, be in a different state, you can only do the best that you can and take care of you, have self-care for you,
Mm-hmm.
but be gracious to them and understand that a person sometimes is not always ready.
Right.
They're not always ready. But
Now,
as
which, oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Would you say that grace can still include accountability?
Yes, that's what grace is.
Mm-hmm.
Grace, when God gives us grace, he gives us accountability. He don't give us grace without it.
Right.
And so when I'm extending grace to a person, I just mean being kind, but we still have an accountability. And so
Yes.
that accountability, that's a great question, Tremaine, because there is still accountability, always,
Yes.
always for actions. Even if they're stuck, we have to remind them that transformation don't come without movement.
I like that. Yes. Transformation doesn't come without movement.
It doesn't come without movement. The grace is that I gave you grace to still be kind,
Right.
but there's got to be some movement.
Yes. And that's one thing I hope that's clear. You can give accountability without shaming them. Accountability, sometimes it doesn't feel good, but that doesn't mean that it's shaming and, like putting you down. There still has to be a level of expectation, for each of us.
Absolutely. We can tell the person, hey, you just cussed that person out for no reason. What's going
Right.
on?
Yeah.
I'm here for you. That's
Hmm.
grace. I can
Right.
pray for you. I'm in your corner. What's going
Hmm.
on? What's going on?
Right.
Can I assist you some kind of way?
Yes.
And so there's always accountability. You just
Yeah.
shouting at me for no reason. What's going
Right.
on?
Yeah. What's going on? What is happening here? That's what I like to say. What is happening here?
What's happening? That's one of my favorite
Yes.
words. What's happening? What's happening?
Right? So, like, we talked about a lot of concepts, when it comes to emotional intelligence. But do you think that I have to have emotional intelligence to strengthen relationships? Like, do I have to have emotional intelligence?
If you want a healthy relationship, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And a lot of that comes with building self-awareness. So when you can build self-awareness, you can manage things. And then that's where you start having some healthy relationships. We don't want to damage relationships in our lives. But
Right.
then if you do, then that's when a lot of people feel alone, feel lonely, feel
Hmm.
isolated, and that's not a safe place to be.
Right.
So we do need that.
So, do you think that I have to have like my own, I guess, values and faith, or is this something that I can go study to become emotionally intelligent? Or do I need both?
Well, you can have your values and faith. And when you want to learn about emotional intelligence, it's really simplified. It doesn't have to take a lot of reading, but it does take steps and tools to practice all the time. It takes
Yes.
humility,
Mm-hmm.
humility to talk to somebody. It takes humility just to talk about what you're going through.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, whoever is sending these questions is they're in sync with what you're dropping tonight. So the next question says, what role does self-awareness and emotional intelligence play in the transformation process?
So they play very important roles. Self-awareness is big because if I'm not self-aware, then I'm not sure what changes to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know how to manage my emotions if I'm not self-aware. I don't even sometimes know how to take care of myself. Sometimes you'll see people, they work all the time, they avoid stuff
Mm.
all the time.
Right.
And when things come up, they want to go back to work.
Right.
Some people I know want to deploy. Some
Mm-hmm.
people want to go somewhere else. Some people want to be in church all day.
Right.
Let's
Come
be real.
on. Talk about
Okay,
it.
let's be real. And so that moves away from the self-care. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can't do the self-care, it's hard to have that transformation. Spiritual
Yes.
transformation is about change. And so if I want to change, I have to incorporate self-care
Yes.
every day. We're evolving people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good. You know, just to be transparent, I really like what you brought out because I've learned that what I used to be able to tolerate, I can't tolerate right now. So now I have to do my self-care and my boundaries a lot different. And it seems awkward, you know, but it's what I need. So I hope that that will encourage you all as well to listen to your body and also listen to what you're saying you want and make those changes. So, wow, this is really good. I want to ask you this question. What does renewing the mind look like practically when emotions are intense?
So renewing the mind when emotions are tense. Again, that's a lot of your self-awareness. And when I renew my mind, I know that I can challenge things because anger don't go away, frustration don't go away, sadness doesn't go away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're here on this earthly plane. We're human beings, so that stuff comes up. So when I
Right.
renew my mind, I start to handle those differently. I start
Yes.
to handle sadness differently. I start to handle when I'm angry about something, I have to let that go. I start to handle that
Mm-hmm.
differently. So that's very important because when we renew our mind, we handle things a lot healthier for ourselves.
Yes.
We start to look at things with a lens that is more clear.
Yes.
And we start to even communicate differently through
Mm-hmm.
stress differently, through difficult times. Prayer comes in. We start to trust, you know, talking about things. If it's my spouse, we don't hold those things. That's what a renewed mind looks like. Letting those things go, having self awareness, um,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what to do to manage, building in those things in our life. That's a renewed mind.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So, something you said, I want to really dig deeper on. What would be the fruit that I know that I've released something?
So, the fruit to know that you release something, I always look at it as you're looking at results. That's if it's in what you're getting back in return in life,
Mm-hmm.
that's looking more positive. If it's your
Mm,
children getting more positive results,
yeah,
those are the fruits there.
good. Yeah, and that's one thing that I hope will start to stand out as we start doing this work and we start moving towards a more transformed approach. the things that bother you in the past, it's not going to be so easy anymore because now you're going to be able to take that pause and really reflect, filter it through proper channels and have the desired behaviors, that you want. Um, Something that came to mind when you said release for myself though too is that when you release burdens that you didn't know you had, you also are freer, to respond and give more peace, more grace out, more mercy out. So, wow, it's so much here with emotional intelligence.
It is.
Um, it's a
It
lot. It's so
is.
much, and it can go as deep as you really allow it to. So it's exciting. So, what's one question that you would tell someone to ask themselves when they feel triggered? Like you said, you feel triggered. What should you ask yourself?
What's happening?
Mm,
What's happening?
yes.
When you feeling triggered, if your body's feeling a certain tenseness,
Mm-hmm.
feel frustrated mentally, what's happening? What's
Yeah.
happening?
Now, is this extrinsically or intrinsically driven? Like,
It can be both.
mm-hmm.
It really can be both. There are so many external things in this world today that can trigger a person.
Yes.
Settings, people, places, like I said, social media, news. There's so much today that comes
Mm-hmm.
up. We're in conflict today. That could be an
Mm-hmm.
external trigger that is also fueling that internal trigger.
Right.
So it can be both.
Okay, that's good. Now, for the friend that wants to help me, because I'm all stirred up. What would you recommend that they pay attention to?
So if you're all stirred up, I ask your friend to pay attention to um, your body language. If you're upset, just to say, hey, I'm here for you. I notice you're upset.
Mm-hmm.
You're upset. Our bodies say a lot.
Yes.
They say a lot.
Yes. I like how you said that too. You didn't project that, a feeling onto them. You said, hey, I noticed. That's very intentional. I like that. Yes.
It's very important. If
Mm-hmm.
if I know my friend notices something is going on with me, that's going to help me hear a little bit better. And I can
Yes.
give an example of that. I know when I was in active duty, and somebody did say, I noticed something happen, or I noticed you're going through things.
Mm-hmm.
That is where my awareness really was when I listened more. Not of, hey, you just upset something going on with you. But when somebody brings that to your attention that they notice something,
Right.
that helps that person say, wow, you notice something about me, that something is going on. You say that to yourself. Well, I really need to kind of understand that this person notices something that's going on with me. There's
Yes.
some care there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very good. So I know that everybody won't be able to just flow, I guess, seamlessly through the different transitions of emotional intelligence. So if they're feeling stuck, what would you want to tell them tonight if they're feeling stuck?
So if you're feeling stuck, first identify some stress patterns. What are some things that stresses you out or triggers you a lot? First, kind of write those down, identifies those. Secondly, do you have a support system to talk to?
Hmm.
And if you don't, identify one.
Right.
Okay. Um, and then I always say, because I'm a Christian psychologist, is pray about that. Pray that God can help move those emotions because oftentimes when people are stuck, they're just stuck in the emotions there.
Right.
And pray that those can be moved and that God is with you. Um, So first, identify the stress patterns. Second, do you have somebody to talk to? And if you don't, can you identify somebody to talk to?
Yes.
Write those things down. And then I will also say and pray about that so that you can become unstuck.
Yes. Very good. Wow. It's already 7:55. I look, wow. The time has definitely flown by. I am going to do a few announcements, but Dr. Ebony, when you come back, I would really like you to share some final thoughts with our viewers and then also let us know all the services that you offer, how we can get in touch with you, how we can sign up, all the things that you can share with us.
Okay,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much again. So family, the talk went so fast. This is a topic that I could talk about all night. I hope that you all were inspired by something that was brought up tonight. I just have a few announcements that I would like to go over with you. We would definitely like to thank our wonderful sponsor, House of God Worship Center, for allowing us this platform and this opportunity. We ask that you come back on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday at 7 a.m. for our Jumpstart prayer. The prayer warriors have been going up in prayer, and we are not going to pray without you. So come join us. Come on. Also, each Tuesday night at 7 p.m., we have an amazing worship experience through our midweek Bible study. Now, last session was amazing. Matters of the heart, the spiritual checkup. And now we are diving into another amazing topic. So come on out on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. so you can get empowered and also learn in the Word with us. House of God Worship Center family has made it easier for you to stay in contact with us. So if you would like, you can text the word empowered to 757-500-0940, and you'll be able to get the Bishop Corner message that we send out weekly. And if you would also like to be connected to the Jumpstart team, you can text the word Jumpstart and you'll be able to share your prayer requests and also share with us your testimonies. Because some of you have asked us to pray for things, and we would definitely love to hear how God has done it for you. So we ask that you just share those things. And we would also just like to say thank you to all of you who have helped us with our fundraising endeavors so far. We're almost done with our Krispy Kreme fundraiser. So if you have not yet gotten your digital dozen, make sure you go ahead and click any link that's represented from our HOGWC partners. And we would love to have your support. This has been an amazing, amazing conversation tonight, and I'm going to bring back Dr. Ebony Glover so she can have her final remarks and then also let us know about the wonderful services that she provides.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I just want to end by saying healing is a mending process. You want to mend your emotional state, your mental state, and your physical wounds. That's healing. Transformation is a lasting change. It helps us be wiser and healthier. I can be found on Personal Life Coach 2. So it's the number 2, www.personallifecoach2.com. My email is also personallifecoach2@gmail.com. That is our business website. I have a virtual platform. I provide telehealth. So if you want to contact me, you can contact me through the website. Our phone number is up there, and you also can submit any contact information through the website to reach me. Um, we provide all types of therapy. There's two of us. I also have the male counselor that provides support to individuals. We do family therapy, like I mentioned before, equine therapy here in California. And so you can locate me on Personal Life Coach 2. Also on Facebook on Personal Life Coach 2 and Ministry. There's a Facebook page. And I thank you guys very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ebony, it's so amazing to be with you tonight. I know that we definitely will be doing more things together, as we progress and really expand outside of the military dynamic, right? So this
Fun,
is
yes,
wonderful. So
it's fun.
if somebody's in California, are they able to stop by the ranch for for the for
Absolutely.
therapy?
And so I am contracted with the county. And if
Mm-hmm.
somebody even has any disability, mental health, autism,
Mm-hmm.
anything, the county will actually pay for them.
Wow. All right.
Absolutely. And then I also do it, like I said, I even do it online.
Yes.
People can stop by the ranch. They can reach me online. I have people that are in Texas.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so
Wow.
absolutely.
This is so good. Well, thank you again so much. I know that we have gleaned, and I can't wait to hear the change that comes from all of you who are saying, you know what? I want to do something different to walk in transformation. So, thank you all again for joining the Hub tonight, and we will see you back here in April for another amazing topic with another amazing professional. You all have an amazing evening.